This is Daniel Bussius with Daniel Bussius Consulting. I am so excited to introduce Ryan Chapman from FixYourFunnel today. So Ryan, you're the head honcho over at FixYourFunnel. Thank you for taking the time out today to connect with us. Basically, I want to do a deep dive into FixYourFunnel and talk to people why they'd want to use your app tied in with Infusionsoft.
Okay. That's a great question, and actually I got some good answers. Probably easiest, Dan, if we just jump into the tool and kind of look around at it, and I'll just explain a few things. We won't go too deep, but give people kind of an overview of what's possible with FixYourFunnel.
Absolutely. I know there's a lot of confusion sometimes with integrations and what power they can get out of them. Obviously, I believe in you guys. I use it in my own business. I suggest FixYourFunnel to all of my clients. So I figured if we can have you, who's the expert over there, show us around a little bit, that'd be great.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, some people think that we fix funnels. We do it directly, but through software. So let me share my screen and let's take a look at this.
Absolutely.
All right, cool. So I think what we're most well known for is our text messaging. In particular, we got our start with automated conversations. And automated conversations just where you own your own phone number with FixYourFunnel. It's not like you're borrowing one or you're, on a group phone number. You actually own your own number or numbers, right? And you get to pick any keyword you want. And when people text that keyword, then you can have sort of this back and forth. In fact, one of our most popular ones that we use a lot for generating leads is this demo keyword. And so what happens is you're able to create these conversations. You kind of get a preview. And as people text into your own phone number, you can apply a tag and then reply and then save information to contact records inside of Infusionsoft. So it allows you to do some pretty cool stuff. We see a lot of people using this from the stage, but I also use it in social media posts. In fact, if you go on to our social media page, you'll find that we're always asking people to text demo to this number because we feel like it really is a great way for people to feel what we do, but at the same time gives us an opportunity to generate leads.
So this part's really cool. So for anyone who's watching this and hasn't seen this before, so you can actually build in your messaging and see exactly what it's going to look like to the recipient on their phone.
Yeah.
And then, so you can also, it looks like you can also tag in there, right? So during their text message conversation, you can actually pull that contact information over into Infusionsoft and launch automated campaigns, right?
Exactly. So that's what the tags are for. And you can use these messages, but you can also do some really cool stuff. Like we support nifty images as well as pic snippets, but that's where you can do these dynamic images where you can insert like their name into a picture, which is really cool. So we actually do that right here. You can hardly see it because it's just a little thumbnail, but it's that dude from Ancient Aliens.
Oh yeah.
It's him on there and it says, "Is your mind blown, Ryan?" Or, Daniel, or whatever the name that they provide in this step right up here. So we're able to, personalize with their name, the messages that are going out to them, as well as, saving that information like their email address that we ask them for to their thing. Their contact record in Infusionsoft. And this right here is really cool. It's called a V card. You probably don't call it that. You just say, "Hey, sure, can you share Daniel's contact record with me?" And then somebody will send me over a record on their phone. And I'm like, "Okay, cool. I add it to my phone book." Well, that's what this is. You can actually send your company's contact information to somebody via text message in this conversation. And you can do that in a lot of different places as well. So that's where people kind of got exposed to us initially, was our automated messaging conversations.
So for anyone who doesn't know about a V card, right? So if you send over your V card and they save that down to their phone, right? And we all know how Android phones and Apple phones are all connected to their email accounts and everything, right? So if I'm sending email through Infusionsoft, Daniel@itmpromos.com, and I send them the V card that has that and they save that, then that's going to more than likely make a contact record in my inbox, right? So that's going to improve deliverability potentially.
Well, it does a number of things. One, it's going to show your face next to that email, right? Or your logo, depending on how you want to position it. And that's going to help with visibility for a lot of things. So email, yeah, of course, because a lot of people focus on email with Infusionsoft. But also if you text them or you call them, instead of just showing a number and they're like, "Who is this?" It's going to show your business name or your name, depending on how you want to create your V card. and your picture. So this creates a way better connection point than people typically get, because you're not usually emailing your V card and people aren't looking at it. But when it comes across as a text message, people know exactly what to do with it. So it's pretty cool.
That's actually amazing. I'm over here thinking about this. I honestly, I'm over here looking at, wow. So we all know LinkedIn, we all know social platforms basically pull and look into your contact records and then suggest people that you should connect with. So if a business owner wants to use this, not only can they potentially get better deliverability because the inbox is going to say this is someone that's in your contacts,
Yep.
but then as you're saying, then you're going to have a more meaningful connection if you're conversating with them via text message or by a phone call. But then additionally, LinkedIn and all the social networks will say, hey, you should connect with this person, they're in your contacts. So the ramifications for this, or I should say the advantage of this, are pretty powerful.
It's huge, and this is like something that people just overlook. But this is just a small little feature in FixYourFunnel, right? So we're still in the messaging. I call it messaging because we're doing multimedia as well as just simple messaging. But it's not only about that. It's also, we can do campaign builder messaging, which is really exciting, which means we can initiate a text message from inside of campaign builder that can have, again, customized information from the contact record. So it feels very personal, and some really cool stuff like this right here. Doesn't look like much, but that's called a trackable link. And what we do is we actually create a link that can set a tag back in the contact record when they tap through the link. So that's really cool for being able to measure, okay, yeah, I sent the text message, but did they do anything with it, right? I invited them to check out a resource, to watch a video, but did they do anything with it? And with the trackable link, we get that same kind of advantage you're used to getting in your emails with Infusionsoft, where we can measure, did they actually do something with what we sent?
So like a use case could be, you're at an event, you get their phone number, so you launch this campaign, right? Yep. You send them a trackable link. That trackable link maybe is, a special offer. And you could almost run a cart abandonment campaign, because if they click the link and then didn't make the purchase goal, then you can have a different conversation via text message.
Okay, so here's where it gets really exciting with these trackable links. These trackable links append a contact ID to the end of them when they get to the destination. So this is where this is really cool. If you're like sending, let's say you have a Wistia video. You use Wistia, right?
Yeah.
So Wistia is really cool because it gives you all these metrics on, did they watch it? How much did they watch? Did they rewatch a part? All that kind of stuff. But we just released video tracking with this. And so it works with the trackable link. So you can send a link to a web page, right? And we're going to go, okay, did they click through? Yes, they did. Great. But then under our automation tools, I know I'm jumping around a little bit, but we'll get back to where we were. Under video tracking, I've got this video I call the $3 million mistake. And I can say, okay, when they've watched 75%, apply that they watched 75% tag. That can then trigger either a salesperson to reach out to the person, or what I like to do is trigger another text message that says, hey, I saw you watch the video. What did you think of what you saw? In other words, engaging in a conversation. This is where texting becomes a really powerful medium. Usually with email, we find that people talk at people. I don't know if you've noticed that in campaign.
Yeah.
But we talk at people. We're like, go buy this, go do this, go download this. But with text messaging, it's very intimate media. And so we expect people to engage in conversation. And this is where it gets really powerful. So I started that, something happened in Infusionsoft, right, that started that first text message out with a link to the video. Then we tracked if they watched a good enough percentage of the video to tell us that they were interested in it. And then that's going to trigger then an engagement text message. And then when they get that engagement text message, it's not telling them to do anything. It's asking for their input. And the reason that's so powerful is when people engage with a company, they start a relationship. And relationships grow long-term successful companies. So they get to now say, oh, you know what? I didn't like it at all. It didn't make any sense to me. Or that was amazing. I'd like to learn more about how I can use this. Whatever they do, whether it's positive or negative, that's going to then ping the other part of FixYourFunnel, which is our live messaging. And so with our live messaging, either to your iPhone or your Android phone or to our web-based messenger, you can get their answer and then engage in a conversation with them, a very personal conversation with your business number. And that's where it's super exciting. When people start to understand that, that's where they get really excited about FixYourFunnel messaging. So
I love the fact.
I just took a little journey, but we covered a few little things that FixYourFunnel.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love the fact, because one of the things I always preach about when I'm writing blog posts and I talk to clients and I'm doing presentations is the fact that you need to be, especially in this day and age, you need to be doing intelligent marketing. You have to treat humans actually like humans.
Right.
The old way of marketing of like, buy this, your offer is almost expiring, blah, 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 blah. No one would actually talk to another person like that. And if they did, they'd probably find them annoying, right?
Yeah.
And so what you're doing is you're empowering the end user that uses FixYourFunnel to actually do intelligent marketing based off of actions, and then dynamically changing that conversation based off of that. And that's how humans engage with each other is doing that.
Exactly. I'm getting the chills because you're right on point with our philosophy. See, I've been using Infusionsoft for a decade. And what I learned about 5 years in, takes time, right, to learn lessons. Yeah. But 5 years in, I learned, you know what? If we really think about communicating with people instead of talking at people.
Right.
Because, we're all working, right? We're trying to build a business. We're trying to be successful at doing something. But what you don't want to do is be starting over every year, right? And a lot of people, when they get into the hustle mentality and they're doing this, what happens is they're not worrying about relationships. They're worrying about transactions. Mm-hmm. That's a very difficult way to build a business. So what I discovered is that if you use automation correctly, you enhance humanity instead of removing it, right? A lot of people turn cold with their marketing because they want to get away from interacting with the customer. What we discovered is we want to use automation to facilitate us interacting with the customer, because when we interact with people at our most human level, we connect in a way that is meaningful and actually lasts over a long period of time. And as a business owner, that's what you really want. You want people that will come back and do business with you over and over again because it's a pleasure to do business with you. And the way you accomplish that is you have to start exposing your humanity. And the way we do that is we use tools like FixYourFunnel and Infusionsoft to really let yourself express your humanity. So your humanity is isolated to those critical touch points, and automation is taking care of everything else, right? So you'll notice in like that little journey that we went on that there was a lot of automation that was taking care of stuff, making sure that we as humans tend to forget stuff, didn't have to worry about forgetting stuff. All we have to do is respond when the time comes, right? So when that text message comes in from the contact saying, I hate this, or I'm interested in this, that's the moment of humanity to be expressed. And so that's when FixYourFunnel facilitates you being able to jump in and start being a human with another human and creating a relationship. Because honestly, if somebody's upset or if they're happy, it doesn't matter. We're just interacting. And we'll get to a point where we can find that happy medium. And when we do, that's when relationship forms, and that's where all the money is in business.
So admittedly, this is a bit of a loaded question, so I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
But so I know I've seen it with clients I've worked with, so I'm going to kind of present this question to you. And I'm going to pose the problem first before I pose the question. And so I've seen a lot of people that are doing Facebook ads, and they're saying that their email open rates from the click-through of a Facebook ad is quite low. And so if someone is, we all know that 67% and growing are the number of people that are actually consuming Facebook via mobile phone, right?
Yeah.
Not sitting at laptops and things like that. So if you're a business owner and you're running paid traffic, would this be a great opportunity to immediately engage with them if they opt in and you grab their phone number versus trying to start sending the traditional emails out?
Yeah, that in fact, that leads us to another feature. I'll go ahead and jump into that. I know we're trying to lead us there, but I'm going to lead there. Okay, so let me jump into my FixYourFunnel account here. So for our account, we use this. So we have lead ads, right? Mm-hmm. So a lead ad is a way to have a web form on Facebook. And so what we like to do is we'll do an ad and then let Facebook go ahead and collect the data because it's pre-filled in on their web form versus somebody having to type in maybe fake email address or a bad phone number. It's going to automatically put it in. What we typically do when we do this is we will collect the name, email, phone number, and permission to send them the video or whatever the resource is instantly via text message. So we're skipping the email box entirely. While we do ask for the email address, it's almost cursory. It's not primary, right? It's kind of like on the side. And so what we do is we take that answer and we, the phone number and all that, we put it in, we send them a text message immediately. And understand that we already went on this journey, right? It's got the trackable link to the video page. So now what we're doing is we're giving them direct access to the resource. We're not making them go into their inbox and double opt in and all this other stuff. We're just going straight to delivering what we promised and what they are after. And what we found was that people give us real phone numbers, right? To the tune of 98% of the phone numbers we got were real numbers. And that 80% of the people said, yeah, go ahead and text me immediately. So the other 20%, what do we do? Well, one, we know they're probably not as interested as we thought. So we just send them the email anyways. And that's like baseline. That's where most people are operating already with Infusionsoft. But we go ahead and send the text message out to the other 80% that said yes. And what we find is that they'll go and they'll consume immediately because there's no roadblock to their getting to what they want, right? And so they consume. Now we're tracking how much of it do they consume. If they hit a cutoff point that we say, hey, this shows enough interest by their actions, now we trigger other actions that then will lead to spending more human time with that person to find out what is it that they're after and then helping them with that. So really the secret with Facebook, the secret with any marketing is how do we let people get to what they're really after instead of putting too many roadblocks in the way? So we want to make it almost seamless, almost invisible, so they get what they want and then be able to use the tools at our disposal to follow up and start interacting with them. And one of the rules I have is, I call it marketing rule number 19, which is don't decide how you're going to lead capture until you know how you're going to sell.
Yeah.
And so many people do it the other way around. They decide how to lead capture, and then they're like, okay, how do I sell these people? Well, you only collected an email address and the first name, so your chances of actually selling are very low. And you only have one stick, you got the hammer. And so since this is a nail, that's all you're going to do is you're going to beat on it.
Yeah.
You're going to send as many emails as you can until they go. And the problem was we didn't think about how we were going to sell before we started. So that's the real critical part with Facebook and with all of this other marketing.
Yeah, so, I love the pattern interrupt too, because if you imagine someone on Facebook, right, they come across your ad, if it's a lead ad, it's pre-filled, they just basically click the button to say, yes, send my information over to this person. And then they probably go back to scrolling, looking at cat videos or whatever they're doing. In a traditional sense, an email just pops up in an inbox. And typically that doesn't really do anything. That doesn't do a pattern interrupt to stop their behavior.
Well, you're not getting a push notification because an email from some third party you've never engaged with came into your inbox.
Yeah, exactly. But a text message, the likelihood of them stopping what they're doing to check the text message and then click that is much more higher than them stopping what they're doing, going in their inbox, getting lost with everything else that's in there. And now you're competing for basically mind share.
Yeah, so and you just bring up a really good point. Think about that journey. They're in the mobile app. They're playing around. The notification will pop up. It will take up part of their display. And it's as easy as a tap for them now to engage with your content.
Right.
And not only that, they're out of Facebook now. They're not still in Facebook with, one tap, they're back into, the next ad or the next social post. And so, yeah, this is a totally different approach in terms of how we're thinking about how to engage with the prospect. And what you'll notice is FixYourFunnel is about much more than text messaging. That's what we're famous for, I guess. But we're about much more than that. We're about how do you connect with people? And how do you connect with people in a human way so that you can actually be effective in marketing your business? That's why we'll commonly see people have huge boosts in their actual sales results because suddenly they're doing things different, right? Right. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Yeah. What we do is we introduce these other options. So we talked about messaging, we talked about video tracking, we talked about Facebook, lead ads. We also do something called sync by tag, which means you apply a tag in a campaign sequence, and that person gets added to a custom audience in Facebook, and now we can target them with ads simply based on that tag being applied in the campaign. Or we remove the tag, they get taken out of the audience. So we can set up some pretty cool stuff. Not very many people do the Facebook stuff because it requires a little bit more thought.
Right.
The texting is very easy to get. The video tracking is very easy to get going in your business. But some of the other stuff that we offer is also on the phone side. So we can track incoming phone calls to your same number that you're texting from. We can forward those to you, or you could use our web-based dialer to receive that phone call. You can also use our web-based dialer to place outbound phone calls from the same number that you're texting from. And that is pretty exciting. One of the things that we discovered about this is that if you will send a text message from the same number that you're going to call from a few minutes before you call, is your conversation rate can triple or quadruple. Because if for anybody that places outbound calls, what they know, especially in business, is that most of the calls go to voicemail, right?
Right.
Have you ever had to make warm sales calls or cold sales calls before in your life?
Yeah. Yes, I have. And on top of that, random numbers that call me, the likelihood of me answering that number is pretty low.
Yeah. What do? Is it because you're not interested in what they're going to talk about? You don't even know, do you?
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
So the number one reason people don't answer the phone is because they don't recognize the number. Number two is they're busy. A very distant number 5 is I'm not interested in what you're calling about. And so what we found is if we send a text message identifying yourself and telling the reason that we were calling, 5-10 minutes before we actually made the phone call. And what we'll do is we'll send a couple of those and then we'll start calling on the list. We'll warm up, get the desk ready, then start making the phone calls. And then we kind of send one to the next one before we make the next call. And we kind of go through that flow. What we found was people either texted back and said, oh, you know what, I'm busy right now. Can you call me in 2 hours? Well, fantastic. If someone making a business call, you don't want to interrupt someone when they're busy. You want to catch them when they're ready to talk to you. The fact that they texted you back said, hey, I'm interested in what you're going to call me about. So that's fantastic. Number 2 is they would not say anything. They just answer the phone when you called because now they knew who the number was. Right? If we did our placement of our V card properly, they recognize the number when the text came through and when the call came through.
And this is massive. I know I have clients in the fitness industry, and the fitness industry is incredibly aggressive and crowded in regards to Facebook ads and things like that. So for them to try to get the attention of these people, to get them into their gym, to sell them training and stuff like that, text messaging is the way to go if they can develop that relationship and then get that person on the phone to get them into the gym. So in a crowded, aggressive marketplace, this is the answer almost.
Well, this is kind of cheating. Okay, I'll be honest, because everybody else is getting up into the crowded line, right? So my kids and I took my boys for Christmas. I gave them a gift, and one of the gifts was I'm taking them to Disneyland, right? So we go to Disneyland, and one of the classic rides you have to go to on Disneyland is Pirates of the Caribbean, right?
Right.
But the line, and if you've been there, you'll understand what this means. The line was the whole snake that they make, and then all the way wrapped around to to Tarzan's treehouse. That's how long the line was, like up over the bridge and everything. It was tremendous. It was stupid, right? I looked at it with my boys. I said, hey, guys, we really want to go on this, but we're not getting in that line right now. Right. And so we went to Tom Sawyer's Island and checked out the pirate, island and all that stuff. And then we went and did some other stuff. We came back 2 hours later. No line whatsoever. Walked right up. We were at 5 minutes. We're on the boat going down on the ride. Okay. So that was like cheating, right? Instead of standing in line with all those other saps that lost 2 hours of their Disneyland time.
Right.
We went and we cheated and we got in at the right time. Well, using these approaches, using text messaging in conjunction with Facebook, instead of relying solely on email, is sort of like cheating. It's like that because everybody else is getting in this crowded line where they got to, vie for attention, and they're trying to get the subject line that will never be read because it's grouped under, promotions, or if you're lucky, updates, but still it's grouped in the place where people are probably just hitting archive and they're not even looking at what you wrote. So you got a shot, but you're trying to play that game and you're thinking, okay, well, I'll make up for it in volume by sending more and more emails. But the reality is, why play that game at all? I think it was Tony Robbins or something that said, change the rules of life so that you can win.
Yeah.
And this, it's kind of a philosophy, I guess, I got at some point. And so I'm always kind of thinking about how do we change the rules for our customers so that they can always win. And this is, what we've been walking through is some examples of how we go about doing that.
I
whether it's
love that.
text
I know
messaging
personally,
or
I have OCD, right? So my inbox, if there's a number on it on my phone, like 5, I've got to clear that out so there's no number, right? But more than not, I see people and I see numbers on their phone for their inbox and it's like 1,000 whatever, which means just unopened emails that are sitting in there. So if you're just sending more emails to that inbox, it's just stacking up. I mean, the likelihood of those people getting through those emails is improbable.
Well, and it's worse than that too, Daniel, because the reality is this: um, email service providers like Google and these other companies, they're employing machine learning to determine where an email should land. And so the more emails you send that are not engaged with, the worse your deliverability will be. And so we can go blame Infusionsoft and we can try to find another tool, but the reality will be your relationship with that contact address, meaning your domain name and that email address, have a relationship with the email service provider. And your ability to be able to have them engage with your emails is what determines how well your email shows up. So if we say, okay, well, 1 isn't getting the job done, let's send 10, you actually are killing yourself in terms of deliverability. Now, if I sent a text message and said, hey, I just emailed you a PDF, go check it out, they go to their email and open it up, guess what I just did to email deliverability?
Increased it, yeah.
Right? Because I jumped the line. I didn't get in the email long line in order to get on the ride. I did text message over it because I thought ahead. Again, I used marketing rule number 19. I thought about how I was going to sell before I decided how I was going to lead capture. So I captured the phone number in the first place. And then when I actually want to deliver an email, because I can push from text to email in terms of engagement, I increase my ability to deliver when I need to deliver in the email inbox. So this isn't just about not using email, it's about using email more intelligently. Instead of using it as a blunt force object, which actually is going to reduce its effectiveness because machine learning is going to say, hey, that guy sent 50 emails and they didn't look at one of them.
Yeah.
In fact, they deleted or archived them before they even read it.
Right.
Well, then we're going to continue to throw that at the bottom of the list. Or we might just throw it into the spam at some point. I think the filters are going to go that way, where you're going to see if they didn't engage by some point, they're just going to go into spam. It's not going to be because they used Viagra in the email somewhere.
I have a question. So if anyone who's watching this is saying, wow, this is amazing, I didn't know that FixYourFunnel can do those things, and maybe they're a little bit beginner in their experience of setting up text messages and things like that, if they were to sign up for FixYourFunnel, do you have like training or anything for them inside of FixYourFunnel?
We do. I would click on it to show you where it is right now, but it'll show phone numbers of the most recent phone calls that came in. I don't want to show people's personal information.
Gotcha. Of course.
So, when you first log in, we have what we call How to Fix Your Funnel portal. And so we have some master classes in there. They do cover things like how to increase your sales for webinars. Don't let that fool you. We're teaching you tactics and strategies through that you can pick and use in different components, even though if you don't do webinars. We got another one that's called the Autopilot Automated Funnel, which shows you how to take the Facebook traffic and then convert that into sales appointments. And so that's pretty cool. We use Appointment Core for that. So we show people how to do strategies that you can actually make money in your business with. So if I sell by appointment, I want to want that funnel, right? I'm going to want to know, how do I take cold traffic on Facebook and turn them to people who set appointments to talk with the sales guy? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I don't think a lot of people even realize that. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I didn't even know that in your training area, you're actually giving basically free funnels that people could potentially go out there in the marketplace and it could cost them a couple $1,000s. And you're giving them the whole strategy in the tutorial, how to set that up using your system.
Yeah, we're teaching you the how behind it or the why behind it, and then we're also showing you how to do each step.
Wow.
I think that the webinar one alone, the strategies that we teach in there, and 2 of them, not all 3, we teach 3 strategies as part of that. 2 of them were used by Frank Kern to double his sales. But Frank Kern is an amazing webinar sales dude. If he can double sales, it's not because he suddenly became a better sales guy.
Right.
It's because he employed a better technique. And so that technique is what we're teaching. So anybody, even if you're like an okay sales guy, right? If you're an okay sales guy, but you employ the technique, how much better results do you think you're going to get if the best webinar sales guy was able to double his sales? If that makes any sense to you.
Cool.
so that's what we do. We have that training area so people can learn that. And then we do a step further. We offer strategy calls with either me or Trent or another member of my team. And we'll listen to, tell me about your business. That's how the call goes. And then say, okay, what do you see as roadblocks? And then we come up with a strategy together using FixYourFunnel and Infusionsoft. And sometimes I say, you know what, you don't even need FixYourFunnel. You just need to go do this because you're not quite ready for it. Other times I'm like, okay, perfect. We just do this, this, and this. We'll add this video tracking strategy in there. We'll do this. There's your game plan. This call is recorded, by the way, so I'm going to send you a link to that.
Yeah.
You can go listen to it. If you want us to help you with it, we can. If you want our customer support, we jump on screen shares, phone calls. We'll show you how to do stuff. If you want us to just do it for you, we'll do it for you. But you just let us know and we'll help you out. So we go, because our philosophy is that the sale is not completed until the tool is being used daily in the business to make money.
Absolutely.
So it's not when you sign up with us, it's when you're making money and you're saying, I would never stop using FixYourFunnel. That's when we consider our sales job done. And we'll still continue to sell you and give you new features and stuff like that. I mean, we didn't even talk about funnel bots or one-click upsells or send out card stuff, but we got a ton of cool little bots that work in Campaign Builder. So, I think we've got a little long here because we've got excited about some strategy and concepts. But, the long and short of it is FixYourFunnel is much more than just texting. It's about how do we communicate with people? How do we communicate with our team? I mean, I see that you have on your list, Slack is one of your things. That's a big tool in our business. We use a Slack bot to be able to let Infusionsoft talk to us instead of us go check Infusionsoft. So there's just a ton of stuff. I probably bored some of your listeners or watchers going into all this, but hopefully they'll understand that there's a lot of things that you can do. The key is not to try and use all of them, but use the things that make sense for you to execute the strategy that's going to make a difference in your business. So
Ryan, I can't thank you enough. This is exactly why I featured you guys in tools the pros use. And this is exactly why I not only recommend you and your company to all of my clients, but I use you as well. So kind of, I eat my own dog food, so to speak, right?
Yes.
Is because the level of detail that you go through and your commitment to customer value and the fact that you want to support people and it's not just buy a product and, have a good day. So, I mean, all those things are the reasons why I think you guys are the best in the business for this.
Thanks. Appreciate it. We're just happy to serve and hope people will be able to benefit from what we've talked about today.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you taking the time. Is there any final words or anything you want to say before we wrap this up?
Hey, just remember that the success of your business is up to you. Thankfully, there's people like you, Daniel, that are out there putting all this information together. I'd recommend you go through all of what Dan's put on this page so you can get a feel for what's available. And then, if you need to, talk to somebody like Daniel to give you some direction or somebody else that, can help you think through the ideas and then take action. One of the things that I put on my 10 things I've learned over a decade using Infusionsoft is that get started with something simple and then enhance it over time. Don't try and hit the home run. Base hits make that, get the score.
Right.
Home runs mean you strike out.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great advice. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.